Good morning. So this weekend, I've finally got round to compiling all my notes on several topics of education. So this weekend, I'm going to be rolling those pieces of education out in individual segments. Now, there are some amazing mentors that share about amazing things in the community. And then there are some who really, I feel, don't think past their own nose, and I actually feel that their generational trauma and racism and bigoted theories and ignorance come out on paper and in posts on social media, and I find that very dangerous. And I also feel that a lot of the freedom space is full of very closeted, narrow-minded, single-minded, claustrophobic theories and thoughts. And so not everyone is going to like what I have to share today, and that's okay. We all have differing opinions. There are more than one way to skin a cat. But I would like you to take the time just to listen. It's okay if you disagree. This topic can get heated. I also want to bring to the foreground that this isn't a one country issue, and we need to zoom out as if we're in space looking at the planet. This is a global issue, and a lot of the things that people get their knickers in a knot about and get all steamed up about and riled up about Australia this, it's not about that at all. It's so much bigger. And so with that, we're going to start with the topic this weekend where I've seen a lot of comments and posts in the last few days. A lot of us have heard this comment, whether we're at the pub or down the shops or in the living room. I'm not racist, but ... and then off they go, right? I'm not racist, but I really believe there's a real cost of this lazy lie, and it is a lie. It's exhausting watching xenophobia get dressed up as just having an opinion or looking after our own. What does that even mean? As far as I'm concerned, my blood is the same blood as any other man or woman on this earth. My skin is the same skin. You know, I might look like a vampire because I never go in the sun. But the makeup of my skin, right? I have a skin that's just a different shade to someone else's. You get what I'm saying. We all have souls. We all have hearts. We all have minds that can think or not think. Am I part of that group because I was born here? Because yes, I was born in Sydney, Australia. My bloodline goes back to Celtic. An amazing First Nations elder a few weeks ago said to me, I was going to share about this amazing Dreamtime story. And then I said, I don't really have the grounds. Out of respect, I don't think I should share that story. And he says, well, what tribe are you from? I said, well, my ancestors come from Scotland, Ireland and Wales. He said, well, that's a big mob over there. You're from a pretty big tribe. And he chuckled. My gosh, did that pivot my whole perspective on so many things. So let's just go back to this. Does my bloodline have to be colonizer pure for you to accept me? My parents have lived here for 30 plus years. They've worked, paid tax, raised children, contributed. Do they count? Or are we also immigrants, right? You know, my children have ancestors on their dad's side who came out on those ships with the convicts. So they were immigrants at some point. I feel like there are some very outspoken individuals who really are expressing things in their echo chamber that I don't think she's reading the room very well, right? And of course, she's getting encouraged by those that are quite racist. They're feeding the fire of that. There's a lot of things that are happening in Australia and worldwide when it comes to crime, housing issues, cost of living, who has what jobs, etc. But let's not pretend this is about immigration being poorly handled. This is about racial scapegoating, hiding behind the veil of patriotism. You can smell it in every comment where African or Sudanese or Middle Eastern communities are singled out while white Australian crimes are ignored. I want to talk about facts. Those of you who know me, I like the data, because data doesn't care about your fear, and because that's what it is. In Victoria, over 70% of all crime is committed by Australian-born individuals. Sudanese-born residents, 1.5% of the population, and they're responsible for a very small fraction of crime. Those statistics are not old, they're from 2020. Who dominates the stats? For meth and opioid use, domestic violence, sexual assault, public housing fraud, alcohol-fueled assaults. Predominantly white Australians. But we don't see white crime crisis on the news, do we? So there was a really interesting comment that I totally agree with. And this man said that he Googled the recent murders in Australia. Mushroom killer, mum kills child, housemate murder, kid kills mum. They were all of Caucasian white background. And not once did the article mention they were white. But when it's a black kid, it's front page headlines labelling that there's community panic and political point scoring. So then let's even zoom down closer on the data per capita. Some of these racist posts have wanted to talk about the per capita argument, then apply it to the violent offenders in your own neighbourhoods first, the ones who actually commit the majority of crime. But no, the per capita card only comes out when you're looking to target a visibly different group. Funny how that works, huh? That's crime. Now let's talk about housing. The housing crisis isn't caused by refugees. It's caused by investors hoarding, over $1 million worthy homes. They're empty houses everywhere. I live on the Gold Coast, and if you go for a country drive on a Sunday, well, not a country drive, a coastal drive on a Sunday, especially northern Gold Coast in these posh areas, empty, vacant, big buildings. Let's also look at foreign capital. Let's also look at lack of public housing and zero regulation. I can tell you for nothing, immigrants aren't buying up 50 investment properties. White boomers, right? My parents' generation, not my parents, but my parents' generation, and corporate funds are. Stop blaming the people renting in the outer suburbs for the damage done by banks, government, and greed. Now let's talk about accountability. Some of these posts are saying, we just want to protect Australia. It's the government's fault. Okay, I'm terribly sorry for my voice that I'm putting on for that character, but it seems to suit. So let's just go deeper. Australia and its allies bombed and destabilised the very countries your precious visas now bring refugees from. We funded proxy wars, coups, and corporate thefts in the global south. We took the oil, the lithium, the labour, the water. We called it freedom and foreign aid. Then when the survivors show up at your borders with nothing left, your reaction is, they're the problem. No, I always say the order of things is so important. They are the consequence. The problem is your government, your foreign policy, your silence when those bombs dropped. You want to stop mass immigration? Start by stopping mass destruction that creates it. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the immigrants that come to our shore, yes, they feel lucky to be here once they're here, But don't you think they would have wanted to stay where their grandmothers grew up, where their grandmothers' grandmothers grew up, where their culture and heritage is? Now let's talk about, inverted commas, our own. Who gets to decide who belongs? White Australians came here by boat. They took over land without consent, treaty or remorse. They committed genocide, erased languages, erased names. And now they scream about who's allowed in, who's one of us. You see, just my personal thoughts, I believe in the unity of all mankind. I believe that, the whole world is unified in men and women, and we are all drops of one ocean. We are all leaves of one tree. They're just my personal thoughts, right? My own personal thoughts also are, you don't get to invade 100% of Aboriginal land, build your nation on that stolen ground, then say someone who's lived here for 30 years doesn't count. So, I was born here, raised here, schooled here. I've had generations and generations of Celtic blood in me. I have beautiful friends who are first-gen Aussies. They may have come from Lebanon or Italy or Asia. They're first-born Aussies. They were born here, they were raised here, they were schooled here. But to some sectors, they'll never fit into our own category, because it was never about belonging. It was about control. If you've spent the last year sharing crime stats about one group, ignoring all context and pretending it's just concern, you've become a mouthpiece for polite racism. When people call you out, because I've seen this week some really educated, amazing mentors call these racists out, don't cry censorship. And don't play the victim. And don't insult everyone's intelligence by saying it's not about race. Because we see you. We see what narratives you're pushing. We see which comments get your likes. I see who comments and who likes your posts as well. We see who you platform and who you erase. And I can tell there's some really amazing mentors, leaders in this group, and I say group of mankind, that are done with playing nice with this rhetoric. Immigration isn't the issue. Colonization is. Corruption is. Resource theft is. Global greed is. So if you're looking for someone to blame, look up, not sideways.